Oh, Andy Lou, this is unfamiliar territory for you and me. You know, the Warriors, they've been eliminated from the playoffs, not in April and not in June, but in May. Last time they've been eliminated in May was 2014. I was just thinking about it. Like, they've either gone to the finals or just had, tank years, right? Almost a decade of just June or April. We haven't actually had to deal with this. This is the James Harden life. We haven't had to deal with this.
Well, they shot the ball like James Harden tonight too in an elimination game, so it makes a lot of sense. By the way, James Harden is playing like James Harden. We saw the other night. Yeah, it's a weird feeling, right? For a lot of the
if you thought we were going to be humbled, no, we still got shots for CP3 and all those guys. By the way, shout out Phoenix Suns, great job.
Well done. A friend of the show, Kevin. Well done. Look, man. The Lakers didn't win the championship. They still might, but they didn't win the championship. It's a second round loss for the Warriors. The last time it happened was the Clippers that they lost in the first round, right? Was it CP3 fouling Steph? No call.
Correct. Mark Jackson's last year was the last time they basically, as Steve Kerr likes to put, the real NBA. Where they, they're their playoff team, but they kind of felt the heartbreak. They didn't have the blessed, we go to the finals every year, or everyone got hurt, we took the year off type of thing. So
it was one of the most frustrating seasons that I've ever watched as a Warriors fan. Just not like the worst season. There have been worse ones, but I think frustration was at an all-time high. Literally every single game, and the final game ended, I think, how, looking back, you can kind of say this kind of ended exactly how we thought it would end. Considering the start of the season, right? This is kind of how it was always going to end.
Look, man, nothing this year suggested they were a real contender. The only reason you and I thought they're a real contender is because Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Steve Kerr, they've done it so many times. At some point, you got to be like, look, man, the data says you're not, but I kind of believe in you because you've done it so much. So, we've talked about this all year. Nothing about their play suggested they're real. We were just banking on the fact that these are people who know how to get it done. And, as the late, great Denny Green says,
we just, the Bears are what we thought they were. What we thought they were. We played them in preseason. Who the hell takes a third game in the preseason like it's bull? We played them in the third game. Everybody played three quarters. The Bears are who we thought they were. Woo. That's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Oh, I feel like that's a perfect summation of the Warriors season. It's I'm not coming away from it shocked, surprised, more just disappointed. Yeah, dude, fuck around and find out.
I push back on the notion that these guys were going to be the one that were when you say hey, we expect these guys were going to show up, because really this whole season it's just been Steph Curry, and that's what this game tonight ended up being, right? It was just Steph out there who, he played maybe a B- game out there tonight, couldn't make a three, but outside, for him,
B- C+. For
they should have lost against Sac.
A- B+, yeah.
They should have lost against Sac, and the only reason why they didn't, and then they maybe they should have been in the play-in game. They shouldn't have even been in the postseason. The only reason for a lot of those is because of Steph, right? So you could argue they never should have been here, but they were there. They had a real chance of winning it, and nobody showed up, Sam. Not a single person showed up.
And it's just so hard not to tie this whole thing to friend of the show, Shams Charanya's article drop at the same time, basically highlighting all the issues the Warriors have, interpersonal issues, which, let's be real, you heard about most of them in passing over the past year. Was there anything in that article you haven't heard about? Are you surprised Draymond's contract is a question. Are you surprised Kuminga is unhappy with his role and kind of like, give me a role or I want out? Are you surprised Jordan Poole is unhappy? Are you surprised that Bob Myers being uncertain to be on the team next year makes people like Steph unhappy? Or not even unhappy, just like unconfident of what direction they're going. Like that thing was pre-written 2 to 3 months ago.
Oh yeah.
And it was pre-written because no one on earth can publish something that fast the minute someone gets eliminated. Like, come on, man. Like, if they were trying to hide it, they'd have waited till like 4 a.m. to publish it.
No, this was at the buzzer.
I'm watching LeBron get interviewed on ESPN and getting notifications at the same time. This has been going on all year, man.
Yep. And this is why they didn't deserve to win this series. They were not the better team. The Lakers were the better team. They deserved to win. They beat the Warriors down the stretch twice in crunch time. They blew out the Warriors twice. And they just were better. They looked happy. D'Lo got benched multiple games, didn't care. Dennis Schroeder comes off the bench. Like, the Lakers were a real team. They were like the Warriors last season. They got a bunch of vets. They got some defense out there. They just got guys that make winning plays. The Warriors this season went backwards from what they were last season, and we're seeing it. You go down the list, dude. You just named everything. I'm not going to repeat it. All down the list. It's a miracle that the Warriors got dragged into the second round, games.
As you said, the King should have beat them, and literally Steph had to pull out some finals BS to tell them, don't get on the bus because I'm beating these motherfuckers by myself. You should not be doing that in the first round if you have serious aspirations, And
it wasn't just about Jordan Poole, right? It wasn't just about, I always say it's a Poole. It wasn't just about Kuminga. Like, this stuff was about the veterans too. It wasn't just the young guys that were the issues all season. It was everyone. So
it was unbalanced. It was, we can blame the front office. We can blame ownership. We can blame coaching. We can blame the veterans. We can blame the young guys. The reality is everyone has a hand in it, and that's my overwhelming theme I'm going to take into this offseason. I don't think there's one specific person. I think everyone has to have a come to Jesus moment, and they have to get on the same page, which is, what are we trying to do here? Are we trying to win a championship, or are we trying to develop for 2027? Because right now they feel like a startup who doesn't know what they want to do, who just throwing ideas on. Like, look, there's maybe no two other podcasters more qualified to have this conversation than you and I, where you're just listening to people tell you all the things they want to do, and you're sitting there going like, yeah, but what actually do you do? And I think that needs to be the overwhelming thing they need to figure out first. And then from there, all right, figure out what your goal is. Every decision has to be guided by that goal, and then go from there.
Who should we? Because I think what they're going to end up doing here, lesson learned from this season, is that the hubris of trying to do two things at once and not understanding human emotions and what people have called the disease of more being a real thing. Those are things that ruin a team, and they ruined the team this season. And I think Joe Lacob, maybe not Steve Kerr, I would say like probably Joe Lacob in the front office did not see those things coming. And I think that's what cost the Warriors. Like, I wouldn't say like a championship this season, but it cost them a real shot at winning anything. It really did. It cost them a real shot at winning something. And you can argue that this is probably the first time the front office has made a monumental mistake in the season, because you can make excuses before. You could say Klay was hurt, et cetera, et cetera. We'll get to Klay tonight, all that other stuff. But I think this season is the first time you can say it's probably not a good thing that you had paid Jordan Poole that much money and then had him come off the bench. He's not ready for that. Same with Kuminga. Young guy, good enough to play. Didn't play all season. And then Draymond Green, you didn't punish him when he knocked Jordan Poole out. And so that was a mess all season. Then you sign veteran guys that aren't ready, like JaMychal Green, and those guys aren't ready to play. And then the Klay Thompson problem. Yeah, right. Which aren't like real veterans. JaMychal Green turns out he's not a David West type of veteran, right? He's kind of just like a goon.
He's a journeyman. He's a journeyman trying to keep a contract, trying to like, would it surprise you if JaMychal was in the NBA next year?
No, it would not surprise me.
My point is he's a journeyman who's trying to stay in the league more than like Otto was never. The only thing Otto is at risk at was health. Like Otto would have a job in the league for another 5 years, right? And I think that's the difference between a veteran and a journeyman, right?
Yeah. And then the final thing is Klay Thompson.
Mhm.
And that's the one I think tonight, maybe the biggest story coming out of the game itself. And these last, I mean, it even happened in the postseason last year, is that he is one of the most iconic Warriors players in this run. He's had so many great moments. And I always thought that when Draymond would regress, that it would get really ugly out there, Sam. I always thought for Draymond it'd be worse.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out for Klay that it's actually worse for him. When he's regressed, it's bad for him out there. And that tonight, they lost for many reasons. The biggest reason was Klay. Those shots were wide open.
It's
wide open.
I don't think it's sad. It's watching it's watching like a fighter who doesn't have it, who's doing a fight for a payday, like it's kind of pathetic type of thing. And I don't think Klay's washed, but I think he needs to spend the offseason reevaluating who he is as a player, because I don't know that. Did you feel like Klay's chasing 2019 Klay perennially?
Daily.
Yeah. And like, honestly, I get it, man. You were at the peak of your powers and you got like freak plays screwed you out of your prime, literally his prime. I've never seen Klay better than he was in 2019. And he lost basically 3 years there, right? And I understand the desire to want to prove you can get back there. And there are nights where it looks like he can, particularly in the regular season. But if he wants to be part of a championship team, I just don't think he's a second option anymore. And I think them winning the title last year, and let's be honest, he wasn't good for most of that run. He had his moments.
He knows good moments. Yep.
He's always going to be a competitor who dials in on defense. Like he's like, I can never kill a guy who competes like that. Like, just being honest, like I can't do it. I've watched too many guys who quit to like disrespect someone like that. But like,
he's also had too many great moments as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you got
part of me wonders if the fact that they won a title didn't make him come to reality with like just shot selection. Like, really, that's all I'm coming down to. Like, honestly, like Klay with shot selection is all I want at this point.
And maybe that's it. And honestly, maybe that's it, right? I mean, his defense wasn't great. But I think there's a lot of the San Antonio Spurs is probably the best recipe moving forward for the Warriors because of the way that and Manu and Klay are not the same players, but Manu coming off the bench and the way that he mentally locked in to the Spurs and what Tim Duncan was so great at being unselfish helped the Spurs. And I think Klay's going to have to think about doing that moving forward. And the same goes for if Jordan Poole is going to be on this team. If Draymond, I think, is probably a little bit too unselfish, but the same really goes for everyone. I think the question,
Draymond's role is different. So it's like, Draymond needs to take less shots like this.
Yeah. The best option is to be the Spurs, right? Is going to be the guy? Is the young guy going to be Jordan Poole that's going to raise the ceiling again and get him another championship? Is the young guy Moses Moody? Like, I love Moses, but probably not. He's probably just like the Danny Green of that run. Is the young guy going to be Jonathan Kuminga, which is the obvious comparison? And we haven't seen that. We haven't seen Kuminga be close to that yet, but they do need to find that guy. Is it Andrew Wiggins? I mean, he was hurt tonight, but Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's move this. Let's keep moving this, Sam.
This is an interesting comment in the chat from Hypeflix. Don't be the SF Giants. Make the change.
What's that mean? What's make the change mean? What do you think that means?
So if we're going to make the Giants comparison, Giants won 3 titles in 5 years. And then in 2016, it looked like they were going to make a little bit of a run, mostly because Mad Bum was still dominant, right? And they got beat in the playoffs. And I think if you're a reasonable person, they should have pivoted off of that instead of throwing a bunch of money at the wrong players and going into like a hole, right?
Yep.
So I do agree with you, but I would say the Giants never had someone who was singularly as good as Stephen Curry.
Yeah, I mean, that Barry Bonds 10 years before that, that's what they had.
And also like
different sport.
One basketball player who's dominant is like having 3 starting pitchers and 3 hitters. You know, like it's just
you could have Shohei and Trout and still suck.
Yeah.
In baseball.
Steph Curry is the equivalent of having 3 Shoheis. Just in terms of like his impact on the game day to day. Anyway, but I do agree. This is a huge summer because if the Warriors mess this summer up, we're talking they're going to look like the late career Dirk Nowitzki Mavericks where like, you know, you love that guy, but they're not even competitive. And then, you know, you don't know what's happening next until you hit on a draft pick. And if you nail it, you might have 2 to 3 more shots at a title, you know, like, so it's like, I'm not going to go doomer or positive either way. I'm just saying it's a big summer.
And for the first time, I don't actually have a take for you. I actually don't have one either way. I agree. I don't think there's a right or wrong way that you can say moving forward is the move. Now, what I would assume they do and what I think they should do is, and what I think they will do, all those 3 things, I think they're going to extend Draymond for a reasonable contract because Draymond knows that this is the best place for him to be. I do think Klay, they extend him somehow for a much lesser contract. He's making $40+ million. Obviously, that's not going to happen. I do think they promise Kuminga a real role moving forward, not because it's like he deserves it. Like he played 20 minutes game and he was good. Like he should be playing more. We've said it all season.
I have the story I want is what the hell happened with him falling out of it in the playoffs. Like I get it. He played bad in the beginning of the Kings series, but he was like the lone positive story all season.
Are you going to tell me that I watch Moses Moody and you know, I love Moses Moody, but man, like he doesn't have the body. He doesn't have the body to guard LeBron. Like they just didn't have bodies for LeBron. And it's crazy because LeBron is year 52, but and then the last piece, what I think they'll end up doing, and maybe this is the pivot point, because all those things kind of make sense, Sam. I think they end up extending Draymond reasonably. Klay, they bring back reasonably. I think Kuminga, they give him. I think those things are reasonable to do. I would be shocked if those things didn't happen. The real pivot point is what they do with Jordan Poole. That's the real, true pivot point, is what they do with Poole. Are they going to move him? Because you could argue they win 6 less games this season because Steph was out for so much when Jordan Poole has played all 82. Yeah. Do you move him? What do you move him for? Right? I'm seeing trade options for Rudy Gobert. I think it's hilarious. I do that trade, by the way. I think it's hilarious, but it's like
no. I can't.
I'm just saying, what do they do with him? I don't know what they should do. I don't know what they will do, but I think that's what determines what happens with this team moving forward. Can I say, though, I'd be shocked if Jordan Poole's back? Can I say that?
I would be shocked if Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson are back. I think it's more likely Jordan Poole's gone, but I think we'll see. There's a lot to be discerned right now. And honestly, like you're in the Discord, I'm in the Discord. I've been trying to avoid this conversation all season because it's just like, what is the point about talking about trades that can't happen until July? Like, do we really want to play with the Jordan Poole trade machine on January 12th when we know he can't be traded until the summer? That's been something I've been sitting on the whole time. So, like, on some level, I'm just excited to get to offseason content because I'm tired of having to get to this. But that's me being selfish. So,
one of the
that's me getting my Klay Thompson on, babe.
I mean, just really one of the hardest seasons to watch. I mean, tonight, I mean, to talk about the game for a few minutes, even though it was awful, did you ever feel like going into the game, I think, you know, the vibes were good, but watching the game 20 minutes in, were you ever like, yeah, the Warriors are winning this game? right? Like Klay comes out, he goes 1 for 7 immediately, and they're good shots. They're open shots, and they have no chance of going in.
So wide open. Annoyingly wide open. That's the thing. I did not feel shout out to the Lakers. I'm not going to give them credit, but I didn't walk away from that feeling like the Warriors' time is done. I walked away from it feeling frustrated about all the ways the Warriors self-destructed this year. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like, it's not that the Warriors gave the series away. It's not that they were better and lost it. Like, I don't think any of those things are true. I think both teams are not great. Neither the Lakers or Warriors are great. And the Warriors self-destructed way more. Rob Pelinka, best executive in the league. He spent the trade deadline making all the right moves. And Bob Myers is, two things, right? One, he didn't make a move. And two, is he a Clippers GM in about a month here? So,
yeah.
Who knows? That's how much of a mess the Warriors are. That's how much of a mess they are.
I mean, they have. It's an important offseason. That offseason may end up with 90% of the same people coming back, but they have a lot of questions to answer. Like, are you committed to these guys, or is it time to go another direction? Because it feels like everyone, starting with Bob Myers at the top, was like, we just want a title, extend me, like that sort of thing. And, it is the disease of more. It's kind of sad that it comes down this way, right? Like, it's kind of annoying because number 30 was magnificent when he needed to be most of the season, but they got to solve those questions. That's what it comes down to. We have a long list of people trying to get through.
Okay.
And I know Andy wants to see the sun today, so we'll keep moving. Oh man, we got a lot of questions too. Okay. So should we do callers first or questions first?
Up to you, man. To the goons either way.
I'm going to bring Mike Mikas up first because he specifically asked me. So,
Hey, boys.
All right. Help me with some copium.
So I just poured a fresh one.
What number?
This was, there wasn't a lot of nervous drinking going on tonight, unfortunately. It was, Sam, shout out you.
Do you feel the same way as me? I was peaceful all night. Because this team cannot hurt me.
I do think I maybe fractured my hand at one point. No.
Which one?
I think
main hand or offhand?
My left hand, offhand. Okay. I would power through if it was a playoff game. Like, it was the offhand, not the shooting hand. But I was clapping so hard when they were down 17 and they battled back to like down 5, and I think I slammed my chest. Like, I thought I was him. I thought I was on the team. Like, I thought I was on the bench. Got up. I literally looked at Meredith, stared her down and smacked my chest as hard as I could with my left hand. And now the thumb area, not feeling so great. So it's a little in pain. But then things, obviously got away from them. And, I was relegated to peace and, yelling about Dennis Schroeder. And, he was banned from the game and he should be banned from the league and banned from the planet. But, it is what it is. The thing is, I love Nikola Jokic and I've loved him for years. And I've loved Jimmy Butler for years. So I'm rooting for a Heat Nuggets finals that will have the worst ratings the league has ever seen. But at least it'll be with two basketball players that I love to watch. And that's, I'm rooting for bad ratings this year. I'm like, let's get no Lakers, no Celtics. I'm like, let's tank the ratings. Let's get maybe a better whistle for next season. But I hear Sam saying that he thinks that Klay, there's a chance he's not back. And I understand if Klay thinks he's getting a max or getting a nice extension, well, then he's certainly gone. But Klay just led the league. And I'm here to bring some not positivity, because this was a miserable season kind of overall. And it was a miserable end. But
let me clarify my position, Mikas.
Sure. Go ahead. I'll take a sip.
I'm not opposed to Klay returning. I just think everything is on the table except for 30. So if you're not on the wagon, which is get in line and don't make it about you, make it about we and winning, I'm okay with you going.
Yeah,
and I never thought I'd say that about 30 and 20, about 11 and 23. But I'm at that point right now, and it would break my heart if both of them left. But, it is what it is. It's
Okay,
time.
so
I'm not
would-
ready
would-
to. I'm not ready to devolve into 4 seasons of old dudes chasing their past glory and just it's sad. You know,
Of course.
I don't want that.
I don't want to be a forever Giant, or I'm not a Giants fan. When you guys are good, I'm happy for you guys because I like the Warriors, and they were fun the year they lost to the Dodgers. That was a fun team, but like I don't want to be that team. I understand that, I get that, but at the same time, do you two, when you watch tonight, feel like tonight was like Klay or Dre didn't care or didn't try? Because I didn't get, I thought they were about winning and they were about trying. Klay was taking shots that we would have loved in any other game, and they just didn't fall. Like, it wasn't like Klay had a piss poor effort, like wasn't getting back on defense.
It is a fair point. I did not feel that it was Klay. It wasn't a Klay Kobe performance,
Well, it looked like Klay in Game 3 against Detroit 2004, and I wasn't even alive for that, but I looked at the stats. I was like, man, he was really doing a Kobe impersonation. I was like, Gigi and Kobe are not happy with this performance right now, man. You got to stop shooting this ball.
I think the problem is it's not the energy, right? It's trying too hard. It's Klay trying too hard, and it's Draymond. Draymond, how many times do we got to hear on the podcast that some coach told you that you didn't look like yourself and you got mad about it? Brother, it's the postseason. Like, why do we have to hear so I think it's those things with those guys.
Steve said at the end in I think his first comment in the post game was like, I saw enough out of Steph. I saw enough out of Steph, Klay, Draymond. Like, I don't think the score is done. Like, I think they still have a lot left. And I was, this season was disappointing to me, but Draymond had an All-NBA second-team season, and if he wasn't hurt during part of the season, or I guess he wasn't hurt. That was last year. What am I talking about? But, like, Steph would have been a first-team All-NBA guy, would have been, like, a top-5 MVP finalist. Klay led the league in threes. He had 300 threes. He was the third player in the history of the league. Draymond had a spectacular defensive season, like, the whole time. When those three were out there, they looked pretty magnificent pretty regularly. And it was the ancillary pieces, the building around them that I felt like was a real failure. It's stuff we've been talking about all year. It was from ownership to GM to coach not playing the pieces that were presented to the pieces not being good enough. It was all of those things, and they like Sam said, this summer is big. They have the paths forward. Like, it's not like this is done.
That's kind of why. That's probably why I'm not in a terrible mood.
Right.
They don't feel like they're in like the it's good. This is a 5-year project,
2011, 2012, the Spurs had a 2-0 lead against the OKC Thunder, and then they lost 4 straight, and 2 of those games were 5-point losses. They were right there. But I feel like a lot of people, when they watch that series, were like, they're done. This is like over. The Spurs are done. And then 3 years later, they were right back, and not only were they back, but they dominated. I think they swept the Heat in 2000. It was either a 4 or 5 game series, but I think it was one of LeBron's 3. I think it was one of LeBron's 3 final sweeps because he's had 3 of those before. The Warriors have never lost in 6, but I'm just saying. But like, the Spurs were right back, and they looked dominant as hell. And yeah, the wheels fell off like shortly after, but they are still very alive. I did think this season it was fitting that it ended on an Anthony made floater. Like, I thought that was just like a perfect capstone.
That was perfect. That was,
and
it's true. I appreciate
this really did test my because I have watched my football team lose many miserable losses. I never got to the point.
We're not going to get into that one.
No, I was almost on the point. I was never on the point, I don't think, with those where I was about to tear up. But when Draymond didn't check back in because of calf tightness, and I thought this might be his last game, there's a moment where I was like, I might shed a tear over this guy. I think he's back, but I got to see these last 3.
Man to man, I feel pretty confident you will see Draymond in a Warriors uniform.
And that's why the tears didn't come out. I better see him again. And hey, I'll be calling it all next year, and Warriors will be back. I'm not worried about it. They had a few down years. They'll be back.
Let them. Mikas, I love you. Appreciate you. By the way, Andy, my favorite thing on the timeline right now, and I'm not even acknowledging it, but I'm going to acknowledge it right now for all our listeners, is the people who are like, see, this is why this type of basketball doesn't work. Where I'm just sitting here, it's like, okay.
What?
Yeah. I'll share some. I'll share some tweets. Share some tweets with you. But
the one that I'm annoyed about right now is people saying that the Warriors are done, which
That one's annoying too.
That they're done right now. They're done. They're done. They're done. They're going to be home. They're going to be in Cancun.
Only team never allowed to lose a series, as you know. I don't want to say I feel good about the spot they're in, because the only time you ever feel good is when you're actually at the top, right?
I felt good
but
last June. I felt good. Felt real good.
But I do think they're in a position where, like, they can. It's not over. It could be over, but it's not over. They have the opportunity to put themselves in the mix for a couple more years, and you'll know it's over when Steph looks like 11 did tonight. I'll put it that way.
Yes.
All right, we get to
No
some more,
comment.
because we got a lot of people to get to. All right, Reginald brings up this question: who do you think's untouchable other than 30 this offseason?
You're gonna hate my answer. Draymond.
I don't hate your answer. I kind of agree with you, because if he's gone,
It's over.
there's only like 8 players in the NBA you can replace him with who can anchor a defense, maybe. So I agree with you. Everyone else, you can kind of vibe your answer. If Draymond's gone, you have to reconsider your entire defense.
Yeah. I mean, you just have to reconsider who you are as a franchise too.
Exactly.
It just. I think he's the only guy that's untouchable. I mean, yeah, Looney, but like they're not gonna move off Looney. Why would they move off Looney, right? So
Looney's every owner's favorite player. He's just overperforming his contract the whole way.
I know him, GP2, right? But other than that, like everyone else can.
I would say at a high level, no one's untouchable for me. It's just depending who it is. The ask becomes a lot higher. Like, to your point, if Draymond's gone, they better get a defensive anchor who matters in the playoffs, and there's only like a handful of them.
Dude, there's like 4. So unless you tell me they're getting like Bam
8
Adebayo or something.
8 might have been an exaggeration on my part, but yeah, the somewhere between 4 and 8. That'll be the title of the pod.
Are you getting Giannis?
There's somewhere between 4 and 8 players we're okay with.
When's Giannis's contract run up?
It's Giannis, Bam, Embiid, AD, probably not moving. It's a short list of guys who can kind of anchor a defense. Like, I'd throw Siakam in there personally, but it's a short list.
You're throwing in there because that's someone the Warriors are going to look at, but I respect it. Sam.
Oh, is my guy. Anyway, all right. Hayden asks, Lacob most to blame for bad vibes, pushing young guys versus vets narrative in the media behind the scenes, openly whining about the tax plus paying Hall of Famers of a chip. Do you think his public statements mattered?
Public statements about what? The tax?
No, about his man crush on
Wiseman stuff. So I don't think any of that mattered.
Do you think that let me frame it. Do you think that affected Klay and Draymond to force them to be more selfish? I'm just going to use that as an example.
No, because that would mean that those two guys are mentally weak, and I've never felt those guys are mentally weak. What he did and he should be blamed for is going all in on Wiseman, going all in on Kuminga, going all in on Jordan Poole, going all in on Moses Moody, and then Patrick Baldwin, and then Brian Rollins. 6, 7 dudes that have never been in a winning locker room because they're young, not because they're going to be unable to do it.
It's too much. It's
too much.
Yeah.
It's too much, man. It's too much. I'm looking at and then Anthony Lamb and Ty Jerome, right? And you.
How much of that do you put on Bob though? Man, I don't want to do full
that's a question for you. Yeah, I was going to
say the goons want an off-season pod, and we're what?
Yeah, let's next one.
We're gonna have a lot of time to discuss this stuff, guys. I promise you. All right. Shouts to Shams and JK. 2 timelines of failure. Yeah, I mean they made it work last year, and reality is this year, and that's 2 timelines. 1 good, 1 bad. All right. If we're retooling, need Klay to sacrifice. Sure.
Yep. Talked about that. Yeah.
Paratosh, by the way, I see you waiting. We're going to get to you, but I have some callers to get to first. Paratosh goes, JP, Jordan Poole for Ayton. Would you do it, Andy?
Yes.
I'm not a.
Do you remember what Andrew Wiggins was like before he went to the Warriors?
That is a fair point.
He had no dog in him. The Warriors got the dog out of him. DeAndre ain't got no dog in him.
You can take him from Poodle to St. Bernard.
Hey man, that corgi was close. And it'll be funny if Chris Paul couldn't get something out of Ayton that Steph could. You know what I mean?
I see that. I see the goal. I see where we're going with this one. I'm in. Okay, you sold me.
Warriors could use some size. They could use some interior scoring. They could use a little bit of a rim runner. Now, it depends because Ayton's got some Wiseman to him, right? Like, he probably wants to shoot 25 times a game. I don't know how good of a defender he is. But, again, it's an off-season topic, but I'd do it. Would you? Is it even possible? Like, why would the Suns do it? Like, all that stuff, right?
Friend of the show, Kevin, would absolutely trade a defensive-minded center for another dude who dribbles. Let's be real.
KD might kill Jordan, though.
Bro. Like that's what he wants. That's what he wants, and he wants to yell at them for not defending. JP for wings in Brooklyn. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Get us Mikal Bridges. I'm anti Mikal Bridges because I think he is now everyone's overrated player.
I understand.
This is the immigrant in me thinking this is an overvalued asset. I'm not trying to buy the overpriced Zuzu, By the way, my dad used to have a first car that I'm consciously remember was like a 1987 Isuzu Trooper. That thing, solid car. Anyway,
how long did it go? 1987. Did you get 250,000 miles on that thing?
Of course I did. Yeah.
Oh
my
God.
That thing lasted forever.
Japanese cars, man. It's unbelievable.
I haven't seen one of those cars in at least 10 years.
I had a Lexus LS 400 that went 240. It was in 1991. It lasted until 2000.
I've personally never had a car go over 150. I sold an Accord I had at 150. I've never tested the boundaries, but now I'm curious too.
I was broke. Now I think it's like you don't need to. It's like the thing about those cars too. When it gets to that level, is you're paying. You've got maybe 8 gallons to the tank. You know what I mean? That thing is such a guzzler by that point. it's like Klay Thompson. You know what I mean? By that point,
it turns on. It doesn't make a weird noise when you turn it on. Yeah.
All right. What's next? What do we got?
We got a few more. By the way, we see everyone in the chat. Karima, we're going to get to you. Jacob, we're going to get to you. Adam, all of you. You're coming on. Don't worry. Sabo, if there's no changes, are we really paying max for Drain? Klay, one more question. Do you think they should bring a big to play inside when we have awful shooting nights?
They're not paying the max. We know that. But how about you? What do you think? I know the answer. I think I know what you're going to say. Do you think they should get a big to play inside? You think they should get Ayton? Karl Anthony Towns?
They need someone who puts rim pressure. I don't care if it comes from like back to the basket post ups or like someone who can actually get to the rim the way like LeBron can. But they need someone who puts rim pressure.
Mouse Turner?
Yes, exactly. That's what I want.
From the comments, I'm throwing out there. I think it has to. It can't be a stationary big. It can't be someone that their best position is at the 5, because at the end of the day, the Warriors, their best player at the 5 is still Draymond. So yeah. I'm with you. It's got to
now they have Looney, who gives you 20 plus good minutes at the 5. So like, yeah, I agree with you. It should be a wing who can actually like. Get their chest into someone and get to the rim.
It's Pascal Siakam. Now I don't know how they get him. Do you have to trade Wiggins? Then it kind of defeats
another Siakam's another dude who loves to take jumpers instead of getting his chest into guys.
But maybe they take that dog out of him. All right, let's go.
Yeah. All right, one more. We have Voodoo Child. Both 5-game win streaks came without Steph. The vibes were off with him too.
Oh wow.
Tough to teach young guys when your 3 legends who hate JK routinely take games off.
Oh, man.
That's why I need a good bench vet. Oh, I'm not blaming 30. I'm not blaming 30 on these.
His last sentence correct though. That's why you need good bench vets.
He's
much,
correct.
Like as much as me shits on people like Damian Lee, and JTA, who's just not very good. It doesn't matter. Those guys are just good vibes, man. They're just good to have on the bench. They're ready to go. You can say they're not good, but how many times did we watch Kuminga go and he just wasn't ready to play basketball? You know what I mean? Like Lonnie Walker goes in there, hadn't played in 2 months, and he saves the Lakers season in game 4. And that's because Lonnie Walker's on his third team? Second team? He got humbled because he thought he was going to get paid as a Spur, and then now he got a mid-level contract when he thought he was going to get 20 million. The dude got humbled, and now he's like, all right, like, I'm going to be a good teammate. I'm going to be ready to play. The Warriors don't have guys like that. Their young guys are not like that because they've never been humbled, which is fair.
And they don't even get to play. That's the other part.
Exactly. Exactly.
You want, you know what would have humbled Jonathan Kuminga? Playing 20 minutes in this series and seeing what he can't do. Instead, all he's doing is sitting on the bench going like, really? I couldn't have helped? That makes me, I would be as bitter as he is. You know, that's how I feel about that.
Because the other thing too is, if he's going to ask for a trade, he should, because the other thing for him that matters is his contract.
He has to think about his career.
Yeah, you got to think about your career, because it is a little unfair for him to not have the chance to
play.
Literally
play.
Yeah.
Let the league decide what you're worth, but you want to play.
And
okay.
if not, go trade him for OG. Fuck it. I'm down.
All right, gonna move forward. We got the legend, everyone's favorite caller, Karima. Karima, how you doing?
There we go. It's been a while.
Yes. Can you all hear me?
Of course.
Oh, okay. Look, I'm just, channeling my whole inner Andy right now, whole, white t-shirt type thing. You probably have on an undershirt. Oh, it's a tank. Look at you.
I got Trey Lance up there. QB1.
All right. We're not talking football. Okay.
Another thing that won't happen, but yes.
Basically. No, I'm feeling actually kind of okay. Like, I'm not terribly down. I'm clearly not high as a kite on this end because I can't stand LeBron and I never was a Laker fan. So this just kind of cuts me a bit because I really wanted to take out LaFlop. And, it is what it is. We regroup when we come back next season, and I think we have a chance. I'm not quite sure. This whole Kuminga stuff is really kind of puzzling, and I thought Coach Kerr liked him, but these reports coming out, I don't know what's going on. And I don't want to end on a bad note. Jordan Poole homie got the first bus out of here. I don't know how he stays. It's just, it was so disappointing. But last thing, because I know y'all are backlogged and everything, but I did want to say, hey to everyone. And do we think Dante ends up staying? He was the only one that showed up for Stephen tonight.
I think he might have made 50 million just off this game alone, which I would be very happy for him if that were the case.
Shout out Dante. Get Dante paid.
He bought out.
He's been
he's been a trooper.
He was literally one of the only consistent players all year. Every game, some games were good, some games were bad, but the effort was always there. Like, easy to root for a guy like Dante.
Yes.
A lot of heart.
A lot of the big ragu. Here we go. Bada boom, bada bing.
I'm surprised you're out on Jordan Poole. I thought you would be more optimistic.
Listen, no, this was tough for me because I still believe that he can do it. But what he showed throughout this entire playoff series and most part of the regular season was just really disappointing, coming off of what we saw last season. So I was really just like, dude, just get right. Just listen. Like, they're all here rooting for you, and you're just deciding that I don't have to listen to anybody. Because what? I got the bag.
Yeah.
In the bag.
You're right.
I'm getting the bag. We getting the bag. And look at you now. You about to pack your bags. Because I don't know.
Look, man, that $100 million, it's going a lot farther in Orlando.
Yes.
Who's losing now? You know?
How are the taxes in Florida?
Look,
Pretty
no
good.
taxes, no
Pretty
state
good.
taxes. He is just
Exactly.
like,
Pretty good.
You'll be laughing at all of us, right?
you can buy
Miami's not far. How far is Miami from Orlando? It's not bad. He could be in the live every year.
You can get your own PJ with the savings, you know?
Come on. Jordan Poole, he got what he wanted. He got his contract. He got his championship. And I don't know if I can blame him. He just wants to shoot 20 times a game, man. Like that's.
I also like.
I think that's just, and he wants to start, and he wants a ball in his hands. It's just.
But he can't stay.
I don't know that
He's not in the Jordan Clark. He's not in the sixth man role of his career yet. He's not. He's too young.
I think he's better than that, and I don't blame anyone in this scenario. Like Steve Kerr is dealing with two guys who play the same position, who both want to start, and neither of them want to sacrifice. And like, you know, the three of us, mature individuals, would say Klay should be the adult in this equation, but neither of us have been, you know, top flight athletes and then had it all taken away with 3 years of injuries to like understand the mental psychology he's going through. So I just think it's one of those things where it's like, just make a decision. Like, honestly, if they were to trade Klay and Poole was the one to come back, which I don't think is what's going to happen, I actually think Jordan would probably have a great season just because he'd have the clarity of his role. You know what I'm saying?
It's a great point.
And
really
I think the fact that there was no clarity there, like, just led to the worst version of all themselves coming out, right?
It really is. It really is. Because Poole is not that bad. He's obviously not as bad as he played, and a lot of that is just mental. And you can blame him, and like you said, I probably blame the front office a lot for and Draymond.
Yeah, but also when you talk
Don't
about
punch him. Yes.
right,
Yeah.
let's start there. Don't do that. But when you think about when you say, you know, knowing his role, at some point, like once the playoff starts, you know your role at this point. Like you're not going to start. It's really going to be matchup dependent. If you start, you start. But I need you to have that mindset coming off the bench. Your role is to get to the basket. Like that's your deal, man. You aren't Stephen and you aren't Klay. You are Jordan. This is your place to like go off. But it's just like I don't know. He was just so bad.
Yeah.
It might be better for both teams to part ways. I think to answer your question
from a reset, yeah.
Dante's not coming back, so sorry to say he will not be. I mean, he's gonna get 12 million from someone, right? At least 10, and then if I were Dante, I'd be like, yeah, dude, can I get my money?
I mean, he's got the whole white privilege working for him, so I'm just thinking that
he does talk like he's black though, so I don't know.
Look, listen, he can come to the cookout, but what I'm saying is that just being around Stephen and learning from Stephen and just being in that, he could totally do like a Looney type, you know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, I think and Kareem, we really appreciate you calling in. My gut instinct here is figure out what's going on at the top, and then everything falls in line after that. And like Dante's awesome, but he's like, maybe he's more likely to come back if they trade Poole. You know what I'm saying? Like those things make more sense once you've made the high level decisions, right?
Bob Myers coming back or not?
Who?
Is Bob Myers coming back or not? Yes or no? 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 What do you think? I'm
gonna go no.
Yeah, me too.
Bobby's gone. It's okay. It's Dunleavy's time. This is about to be like what's his name? in the Dark Knight. It's Aaron Eckhart just coming through as the
Two-Face.
new DA. Yeah, that's not the best sell. Anyway,
Yeah,
keep moving. We got a lot of callers here. We got our guy Adam coming through. Adam, what's up, brother?
Hey guys, hey. I think one small good thing that could be good from Klay's disaster is teams aren't going to throw as much money at him. Maybe he'll be willing to like take a discount. I don't know. Everyone knows like he's going to have to be the guy to sit, and that's what we've been saying. Do you think if Draymond and Steph, assuming Draymond is back, which I agree, I think he will. I think Draymond knows he's like, is he gonna have the success anywhere else? I don't know. I think if Draymond and Steve, who I think will be back too, and Steph sit Klay down and be like, dude, come off the bench. Do you guys think he would listen to them, if anyone? I don't know, but I
think so. By the way,
Yeah.
Adam,
Yeah.
Gonna appreciate the call. We're gonna move quicker through callers the whole way through. I will say this. This is the first time the Warriors have been humbled. I think that matters in terms of it because you can't humble Klay after you win a title. You know what I'm saying?
Nice spin. I think I agree with you because you can only, it's the same with, I keep talking about it with guys like Lonnie Walker and guys in the league that have failed and come back and kind of change who they are. Look at D'Lo. Did you see how composed D'Lo played the entire series? And D'Lo has never been that type of player. Like he's pretty,
No.
it's a good spot for D'Lo. He had some really good games. Like good for him. And that stuff doesn't happen if like D'Lo getting that extension, right? Like D'Lo and Poole are a little similar to me, not the play style, but just the way that they go about stuff. Anyway, let's go.
Agree. All right, Matthew, my man, what's up?
What's up, guys? Hey, thanks for the nightly therapy after playoff wins or losses. I gotta say, kind of feels like everyone was gassed. Everyone had to play extra during the regular season and then extra during the playoffs because they had to play extra during the regular season. So cursed season, but the dynasty ain't over, We'll be
Appreciate
back next
it.
year.
I like it. Short and to the point. Let's keep moving. We're going to try to run through people because we got a lot of people in the queue right now. We're going to Jacob next.
Hey, guys. I'm with everyone else. I think the Warriors will be back. So I'm going to give my two hot takes because I basically feel the same way as everyone else. I'm sad, but this was the most frustrating season I've seen, even more than the 20 and 21 seasons. So I guess maybe that's a hot take because those were rough, riding and dying with the core. But I hope I never see a free throw differential. And this isn't even a ref thing. This is just we knew the Lakers were a bad matchup. It happened all season long. I hope we never see a series like that again. It was hard to watch. And then I just need to see a Nugget sweep. That's what I need to see. I need to see Steph get some help, and I need to see a Nugget sweep. And I will watch NBA basketball again in October. Have a good night, guys.
Let's go, Jokic. Appreciate you, brother. All right.
Can you do me a favor and toss that Kareth Burke quote up for me real quick? Just because it's worth mentioning. I threw it in the chat.
That's what I was doing.
Oh, fucking mind melded. 50,000 miles away from each other. Steph on the season, a lot of pride in what we accomplished, but there's also an understanding that this is not good enough and we have to do a lot better next year. Says the team needs to reestablish itself as a championship contender. Sam, I ask you, it feels like to me, am I right in thinking that Steph, at this point in his career, now that he's 35, 36 next season, understands that his basketball mortality is nearing an end? Do you think he's as frustrated as he's ever been with the way that this team is? Yeah, he's going to ask more, I think. Yeah.
I think my read on that quote is, look, man, I'm one of the 5 dudes in the NBA who's good enough to be the best player on a title team. And there really are only 5 or 6 of those in the league. I'm not about to waste it with us not knowing if we're in or developing or doing whatever the fuck. So make a decision. We're going all in. with me, or me moving in a different direction. You know, like it feels far more aggressive than the tone he typically takes.
Yeah, it's not full LeBron, but I think it's him understanding, like, I don't know if this was a wasted season. I don't know if I believe that just because of all the fuckery that happened. And I don't know how much of that was preventable, but I think Steph looks at next season and he says, if we're not going to learn from our mistakes and fix it this offseason,
sure.
You know.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
You know. All right.
You got McWalters up here. You got palate cleanse.
what's
Palate
up,
cleanse
guys?
here.
How's it going? I mean, obviously awful. But yeah, this thing didn't work out the way we wanted it to, and to be honest, we're all in our feels, and rightfully so. But there are some reasons for hope because, like you just said, Sam, we have one of the guys who's one of the top 5 guys in the league that you can build a title contender around, and hopefully they can do that. Hopefully they've learned from their mistakes, that we can jettison some of this young stuff that's on the roster and come back around with some guys who can actually make some shots when it matters and don't just cower away from people at half court because they don't want to pick up a foul or whatever and completely change the tenor of the game, right? I called her before that was going to be a Poole game. It definitely was not. And if we had gotten anything from him in the first half, we could have turned that around. I mean, we almost had it down to 5 there, right? Even if Dante gets it in before AD blocks it, right? Instead, it flips around to 10. We were right there, and the team just caved. Like, what can you do, right? It happens. It's basketball. But what I really want to see them do is just come back and address these things. Find a home for Poole. I hope it's not also finding a home for Kuminga. I actually think he's a player. But if you have to attach him to Poole, so be it. And let's get something going here. And if not, then let's see what we can do when we roll back one more year. If I wouldn't extend Klay, I would make him play it out. I don't think he's going to get that type of contract. And that's what we could have done with Poole. And we didn't. And that's the lesson we're going to learn from this season. All right, guys.
Wow,
Appreciate you, McWalters.
Wow, that was like a very serious, like, McWalter. Wow, that was.
Let's bring him back up here. I got
kind of scared for a second.
I feel like McWalters is our moral center. Like we have fun. We can go off the ledge. Sometimes it's insane. And McWalters is always the man who I feel like centers us.
Yeah,
brings us back to reality. So just a shout out McWalters, legend of the season. And I agree with you. Big decisions to be made, but not reasons to be down on the direction just yet.
Yeah. Don't be all the way down. It'll be okay. Life will go on. This isn't the end of the world. Now, maybe if the Lakers win the whole thing, it might feel a lot worse. But we'll
now I'm gonna kick you off. All right, have a good night, buddy.
Man, I watched the series and I don't know, Sam. Maybe I'm just a hater, but I feel like Denver's gonna cook them.
I'm not impressed by the Lakers either. I'm rooting for my guy Big Nick.
He's fucking sick.
I don't know. It's just that's
now good.
Now just anyone I just call Big whatever.
That's great. I mean, he is. Nikola Jokic is inevitable. That guy is so effing good. I gonna have to watch those games. And the Nuggets take the first 2 at home because of altitude, and the Lakers are tired. Like that gets a little shaky.
I agree. Before we get to Eugene, real quick, I feel like as a Warrior fan, you can accept a team who organically built it up the right way. Not like it, but accept it. It's a Lakers win. It can be a little butthurt.
Yeah.
Anyway, Eugene, what's up, brother?
What's up? Nuggets in 5. And honestly, like, even if we won, it pushed to 7. Like, can you imagine Jordan Poole out in the perimeter with Jamal Murray or him crashing into KCP for there was no chance. So there's kind of like a sense of hope that washed over me. And right after the game ended, I was thinking to myself, the biggest tip of the cap needs to go to Rob Pelinka. Like, he went all in with a Hall of Fame player just for a shot for a ring. And when I look at this team, when all the trade deadline stuff went down, and I go back, if we made that move for OG, I know Kuminga was in it. I don't know what they're asking for, but let's just hypothetically we make that move. Where would we be now? And even if we have to move Kuminga now, what's his trade value after all of this? So that's the only stuff that's concerning me a little bit. And the question I have for you guys that I really want you guys to simmer on. Do you think Joe Lacob this postseason is now self-aware of this is not a pet project. This is not an anthill. You are not, whatever. You need to wake up and give Steph the pieces he needs because he's still got 3 years left. That's the only question I have. I think he kind of is waking up. The Wiseman move to me was, even if it's a huge money break, that's his pet project. So I'm hopeful, but we'll see. Last thing, I think Wiggins is untouchable just because of his contract. It's too good to let go. Crazy good. But that's it.
I agree with you. As annoying as the sabbatical was, I think he's untouchable, and it's just simple business.
I love that you asked the first question, then answered it yourself. I mean, I think Lacob, I think he does realize. I think he will make, and the moves might be wrong. He might make the wrong moves by trading for someone that might end up not good or signing vets that are not good. But I do think his head's going to be in the right place.
If it's down to Jaylen Brown or Bam Adebayo in a perfect world, who would you guys take? And I'll sign off. I don't want to take too much time.
You're saying,
I appreciate.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, go ahead, Sam. Yeah, I'm thinking.
Well, I'm going to cop out answer and ask what are we giving up?
Let's just say it's Poole, Kuminga, Moody, and picks. It's it's our
the poo-poo platter.
Yeah, the poo-poo platter. There you go.
Okay,
I think those two are there, so we'll see.
I'm going Jaylen Brown because if I get to keep Draymond and Looney, I want another wing who attacks at all times. I think you're correct. They are the same caliber of player, and it's a very fair question. But if the ask involves keeping those two, I think you got to go with the wing every time.
Yeah, it's Jaylen Brown. I don't think it's close. I mean, the more I think about it, it's not.
Got
close.
3 yeses right here.
Yeah,
thanks,
thanks, Eugene. He is a weirdo.
Appreciate you, bro.
He is a little odd, but can you imagine? I mean, the Warriors don't have enough defensive players. I mean, you could argue Kuminga should have been out there, but I'm just watching LeBron do his, classic pick, and then go post up Jordan Poole, and it's just man, they're just the Warriors are the Warriors because they had Andre and Livingston and all these guys. Oh, we got a little red wine.
Oh, yeah, I have to be fake bougie just to sign up to this godforsaken year. It's we knew since game 10, this was a second round exit from the very beginning. So I think so that's kind of why everyone's not really that mad. It's we knew unless a serious move was made at the trade deadline, this team wasn't going to go that far. And I think someone already said before is if we're to advance, pull off the 3-1 comeback, it's getting a road game in altitude was going to be hell, man. But you know what? I've accepted it, man. They reached about what I said earlier in the year, but I'm not really, but still work to do. It's if you're going to trade Poole, make sure to get multiple players, not one, not Aiden. God, no, for Aiden. Please, no. We already see a situation where he's not liked. Why put him in a situation where he might not be liked by Kerr? Let's be real, man. But as for Joku and Poole, it's Joku, I understand why Kerr didn't play him because it's he shit the bed in those first 3 games and was pouting. And it's dog. I wish Kerr did the same thing to Poole because it's Moody is playing better than the quote unquote franchise player based on the contract that Poole got, the future franchise player. And he was pouting because he didn't get minutes in game 4 of a playoff series. It's bro, you're supposed to be better than this. We saw it last year and you just fall on your face like we saw all year. So it is what it is, man. I'm not upset. There's ways to retool the roster. But anyway, there's only 4 players or 4 people that showed up today. Steph, Dante, who I have to give credit. He had made a lot of slander talk in the last series.
Shout out Big Dante. Yeah.
Moody, and of course, gotta represent Warriors World, man. The only person that decided to show up and have some heart today, because man, this was fucking awful season. Shout out, man.
Thanks, brother.
Tashawn, appreciate you, brother. I hope to see you in the offseason. Yeah, it is what it is. All right, let's keep moving. We got a lot to get to. Paratosh,
Hey guys,
turn your
can you
camera
hear
on,
me?
brother.
Can
I
you
can
hear
hear
me?
you. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just going for some beer right now.
that's okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so had a couple of thoughts. Like, at least the season is over. That's my biggest takeaway. It's like the season was tiring from start to finish. Like, it started on a great note. I mean, it didn't start on a great note, but we went into the season thinking we would be at least contending for another title. But everything unraveled since the beginning, like since JP, the slap and everything that took place after that. So I'm for the one, I'm glad that the season is over. Another thing I'm 50-50 on is like, I don't know, like I have a lot of optimism. It's not like 2019 after Klay went down. So we still have a lot of optimism because Steph is still Steph. My biggest concern is Bob Myers' contract. Like, is he going to come back? That is where it starts. Because if he's not there, then the next guy, how do we trust him and things like that? And I think I agree with Andy that Poole needs to be moved, not just for like Poole's our sake, but also for Poole's sake. I think there's a player there, but he's not going to come out because he's not happy with coming off the bench. So what I do think is Poole, Kuminga, PBJ, Rollins, and all of these guys, like, and some picks, they need to figure out to get some help for Steph. That's the obvious thing. Like, we need to find some help for Steph. And yeah, I still have some confidence because Steph is still Steph. Klay didn't have a good series or good playoffs, but he was great in the regular season. Wiggins is still Wiggins, and Draymond has shown that he can defend when he wants to. So yeah, that's just.
Well, this is a more optimistic Paratosh, man. I
know, right?
It's like the end of the season really
brother.
gets.
Surprised
Yeah.
that I'm so optimistic, but I don't know.
We got.
It's weird because earlier I was very down, and then like after the game ended, I'm like,
Yeah.
I can trust Steph.
I think there's a relief. I think
Yeah,
for all Warriors
exactly.
fans at this season where I think the frustration is there, but
yeah,
it's over and
exactly.
good riddance.
Best part about the season
Good
is that
riddance.
it's over. Steph is going to get a lot of rest this season, and like they will come back like they came back in 21-22 trying to win another championship. I thought they came back lackadaisical this year, or like
No, yeah, everyone agrees with you on that one.
Yeah.
It's just, what's the meme? Fuck around and find out. Like that's
exactly.
That's kind of who they are this year. All right.
Bad process led to bad results. That's always what happens.
Exactly.
Isn't it? Was this actually? You know what, Paratosh? Thanks for calling. I got a question for you, Sam. I need you to answer this for me.
What's that?
Was this season a failure?
This is a step. It's a step in the process. This is not a failure. It's a step in the process. Please, Nike, print that. Just fuck around, dude. Of course, the season was a failure.
Yeah, I agree.
The goal, when you have a championship caliber team, only one thing is a success. Now, you can justify if bad luck happens, someone gets injured. It's just like, that sucks. It sucks. But only one thing is a success. There are no steps in the process. The only thing that matters is getting the fucking job done. So no. And by the way, I don't want that guy on the Warriors. I'm over it.
Yeah, okay. You know what? Too far. We're too far. Hour and 10 minutes in, we're not doing.
We've reached the Giannis slander portion.
I think this season is not a failure. I think it's a step in the process. I'm okay. I'm Giannis. You're making a lot of sense. When's your contract come up? Year and a half, 2 years? Hey, listen. It sounds like Drew Holiday is going to retire. Chris Middleton's knee is cooked. Giannis, there's really no reason to stay. I'm with you, man. I think everything you're saying makes. Yeah, of course the season was a failure, dude. Come on. And his season was a failure too. Come on, man. Wouldn't mind Giannis coming to the Warriors,
loser. Loser ass bullshit. Come on, man. All right, let's keep moving.
I agree.
Let's get to Ishan. What's up, brother?
What's up, guys?
End of the season. It's always fun.
Tough day today. Obviously, I don't really feel. I think like the two closest times I ever come to crying for sports was 2019 and 2021 when we lost to the Grizzlies. But today I feel pretty good, like all in all. But my main thing is, and I'm really open to this offseason, is that like everyone has different viewpoints on like what to do with the Warriors. And that's what I love about this fan base, is that kind of everyone has something to bring. And for me, like one thing I kind of like I get a lot of heat for from my friends is that like I've never been a Klay fan. Klay has been one of my least favorite players on the Warriors. And just the player, like I respect his
Yeah,
everything.
you're winning tonight. You're coming through now.
Yeah, no, and I don't want to pile on him because I do like him as a person. I just as a player, I don't love him. And I just for me, like in 2016, I was more mad at Klay than Steph, and like some of those things, like and like so I'm a bit harder on Klay. And today, I just like feel, to me, I want to move off of him, and I want to find a second option for Steph. Today kind of showed me something where I saw competitiveness in Steph, like that, like I know it was always there for Steph, but just today, like really made me proud of Steph in the terms of like he was just distraught on the bench, and that walk to in the tunnel, he was distraught. And I see Draymond smiling and hugging LeBron, and I see Klay with the towel over his head. But I could tell like Steph took that very personally, and I just hope that this front office just really commits to him, and like he deserves that. And like I was talking to my friend that was a Bucks fan. He was saying like we got to commit to Giannis, do everything we can. Giannis wants whatever coach Giannis wants, whatever this wants, whatever that. And for me, I'm like, okay, Lacob, do that for our guy. Like, like this guy is not gonna come around again. So I would just love to find a second option this summer. That's my thing. I hope they re-sign Draymond. I've always seen it as Steph and Draymond. Like that's my duo. Like that I've always thought those are the two most important players of the dynasty. I think Bob Myers won't be back. I'm feeling that vibe because that contract would have been done, like if it needed to, like, and Jordan Poole will be gone, and hopefully Kerr does some soul searching and gets his shit figured out. And the one question I have for you guys, Draymond at the podium said, "Don't let us win a fucking championship again." He said that quote unquote.
Right.
So why is he saying, I knew we weren't winning a championship this year? Why are they saying that at the podium, that we knew this wasn't a championship team, when he was saying that kind of stuff?
Because
So
because it's the end of the season, they can admit the truth. And during the season, you can't admit what you already know. And this team
but
has won
he's
for
Andy, he's going out of his way to say that, don't let
because
us win.
you're talking about he's saying that not now.
Do you
You're saying
remember
that
on his
before.
podcast, he was wearing a shirt like 2 weeks ago saying, "Don't let us win a championship again." Like that.
I think he's just trying to speak into existence.
Yeah,
on some
That
level.
it's copium, just like the last hour and a half of us right now.
There's
I
a lot of
was just-
copium going around right now.
Yeah, I was just happy to see Steph. Like like I just wanted to see someone care, and I felt
Yeah.
Steph really cared, and he wasn't going down without a fight. That's
So
what
that-
I thought of.
Sometimes I feel like, and I feel like sometimes that's what fans want to see from Draymond too. And I want to see from Draymond, which is like, there's too much like media, like kayfabe type thing where it's just like, I get it. You do a podcast, but like at some point, just let fans know that like, this is the thing you care about the most.
Yeah. Keep the main thing the main thing.
Exactly. Keep the main thing the main thing. Steph Curry's never made fans feel that that's something they should question.
Right.
But everyone else on this roster has. Jordan Poole has. Draymond Green has. Klay Thompson, all of them have. And I feel like if they just get that in line going into next year.
And my main thing is like, so we've always had like our like our second option has been by committee. And like, and when people in that committee don't pitch in, it looks bad. But another last thing I'll say is like, Andrew Wiggins, like, I respect the hell out of you, dog. Like, I was thinking about it mentally. Like, if I broke my rib and then like someone says like, dog, go guard LeBron James, and that is insane to me. Like, he's a special guy, and I hope he stays a Warrior for sure.
Agreed. All right. Appreciate you, Ishan. Have a great evening. Hopefully see you over the summer. We're going to do a bunch of stuff. Yeah. All right. We got to get to the man who's cursing. Honestly, like the Warriors are pretty much undefeated before we partnered with ALAO. So
Yeah, man. Bay Area sports for you, huh? It's fucked up. I now feel the pain. It was, as an avid Light Years listener anonymously all these years, I finally, I feel like I'm a part of this 3-man weave of emotions right now. Holy crap! What a season, huh? These guys that all went on in the comments. These guys, man, I can't believe we're here right now. We were talking Jaylen Brown and Bam Adebayo. Oh my God, we are here again.
Hey, at least we're not talking draft picks yet.
Oh my God.
Don't worry. We're getting there. We're getting there, bro.
If you want to talk about that, we could go that route too. But man,
Not
what a
tonight.
season. But I was texting you, Sam, and I was like, hey, how we feeling? You said you were confident, and I get it. Like I was pretty chill too. And like, even though is this the first game where the announcers would go like, yeah, they're only down 19, but I think they still got it. And they're just stroking us the whole time. Hand job the whole time, man. They're just trying to, oh man. Fuck. Well,
I thought they were trying to see a good game, and it was not.
I'm so glad that Jeff Van Gundy now has to go to bum ass Denver and like bring his inhaler, old ass. Go to the altitude. I'm so
Mark
glad.
Jackson, Jeff Van Gundy, Mark Jones. It has been a rough. And it's not like Fitz is this special announcer, but it's been a rough. Like
Big
I'd
Bobby.
almost rather listen to Richard Jefferson and JJ Redick, and I don't think those guys
I love
are great.
those guys though.
Huh?
I love those former players though, because they have a resume.
I'd rather listen to them versus like I can't do Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy. I just can't anymore.
Like, aren't there other guys that could do this job? But hey, I'm just blaming everyone now. It's the refs, now it's the announcers. I was blaming the arena. I went down the list of blame, and I'm just out. Man. But it was a one hell of a season. You know, the thing about the season, we were so unsure about everything. We were so unsure about the contracts, so unsure about the chemistry, and then the offs, and then even wasn't this the craziest trade deadline ever where we just had no idea? And now it's the end, and we're like, is this really the end? Like, is this really the end? But
nah, it's not the end. I feel
it's not
good.
the end, but you know, we have Christian McCaffrey. We have oh my God.
We got Sam Darnold.
I'm ready. I'm ready, brother.
You guys watching Casey Schmidt lately?
I was a fan of Darnold at USC.
Oh,
might pull up some toots. Might be
this
ready.
is gonna be the craziest.
I'm gonna see how upset I can make Andy.
Oh man, this is like I can't believe we're here, but I'm glad that it's over. But going back to basketball, it's like, man, I still have faith. These guys still got a lot in the tank. We still got 30. Klay Thompson we can never bring up Game 6 Klay ever again. That was like that's a thing in the past.
We did him a service by not talking about it tonight. I can be honest.
It's kind of like when like a pitcher has a no-hitter, right? No one talks to him. It's like, all right, like, you know, you got a no-hitter going. These motherfuckers before the game 6 Klay game. It's like, dude, it's like you're expecting him to pitch a no-hitter before he even taken the mound.
Great call. It's a great call.
It's like, what are we doing? It's like everyone posting the Game 6. It's like, dude, come on, man, let him cook. And today, he just wasn't cooking. You could see every time he was shooting it, he's like, oh, if I don't make this, I'm not Game 6 Klay. You know. Now it's like, man, you just need to take a dip in the Tiburon waters and just enjoy the offseason, play some golf.
You know, we all need to take some dip in the Bay Area water and call it an evening. Gonna end it. Gonna let Andy.
Man, that was
appreciate
rough.
you, brother.
I have one more thing to add.
Oh.
At least we get to kick it with our moms on Mother's Day. Like we don't gotta split the time anymore. I was asking all my friends, like, hey man, like, what do you guys do for Mother's Day? And then all us dudes are like, oh, it depends if we go Game 7.
Mom, let's do a 9 a.m. breakfast.
So I guess now we gotta plan shit. So all right, they made the decision for me. So boys,
get your flowers.
Amazing. You guys are great.
Appreciate it.
Keep it up, man. Let's go.
Thanks, appreciate you, brother. Have a great evening. Andy Lou.
Hey, before we sign off, as we sign off, I want to, for those who made it, are still here, and are going to be listening on the podcast. Thanks everyone for the amazing season. A couple housekeeping notes: subscribe, rate 5 stars, comment, throw whatever you want. Right? It's another end of a great season.
But always 5 stars.
Always 5 stars. Always
Yeah,
5 stars.
Tell us we suck, but put the 5.
That is true. Throw in the comments. You can say anything you want. Say boot Andy. Don't even want him on here next season. But as long as the 5 stars there, they're great. We've got the new merch, right? We've tweeted it. IG collabed with Free Bread with GSW-LAL. The shirts are awesome. Can't wait to get those.
You're gonna hit TikTok soon.
We're gonna do a TikTok dance, Sam and I. God, we appreciate everyone, man. It's been a hell of a year. I mean, we keep growing. Sam, I love you. You know what I mean? It's been a great season. We're gonna run this shit back again, just like Steph, Klay, Draymond.
Bro, this is a culture brand. Let's be honest. We're gonna be back Monday. We're gonna be talking Markelle Fultz. Let's say if he's the answer. You know. All right. Maybe not Monday for Andy, but you know we
I could do Mark. I'm in on Markelle, by the way. I do like Markelle Fultz. I actually do. You don't have to talk me into him. I like it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, entertainment media company. Like we're like the Warriors. You know, we're stretching the boundaries of our. So we'll be here, guys. We appreciate all of you. We love everyone, and we're out tonight. Do not take it too hard. End of the day, Warriors still have number 30. Be okay.